In other words, he wanted to give them artistic creativity, which is something that let's face it, the studios got away from over the past 15, 20 years. They wanted to control everything. And so, you know, with this particular CD, they've given them the room to be creative. So this might be a little bit different. Now, as you know, I'm not a huge In Flames fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you told me a week or two ago, hey, listen, we're going to be reviewing this one. I know it's not your scene, so to speak, but, you know, as you reminded me, you had to put up with, 6 a.m. and some other CDs you didn't want to do. And that's fine. Zakk Wylde, which in retrospect, I wish we wouldn't have done.
Thank you.
Because it was just bad. So I'm kind of preparing myself for this, and now I'm kind of a little bit excited by it to see what they do on their own without too much interference from the actual production company. Well, what are your thoughts on that? Do you see this as a new trend?
Possibly. It's again, for if you're an old school In Flames fan like I am, it's interesting to there's how do I want to say this? They, to me, are the band that release after release, just like many fans of Metallica, who come back to every new Metallica album and go, okay, all right, please say your old Metallica again. And then typically you're disappointed. That's how In Flames has been to me. When you listen to some of the stuff they did on Horacle and Colony and even Clayman, I mean, this is just, they were one of the founding Swedish melodic death metal bands that were there, but were just different. They were a lot more melody than a Dark Tranquillity or At the Gates had. They were by far and away my favorite band at one point for a long, long time. And then, Soundtrack to Your Escape and Reroute to Remain came out, and they started to sound a little bit more Americanized, if you will, if that makes any sense, but still good. And then ever since then, it's been downhill. Now, Jesper Stromblin left the band, dealing with, alcoholism, and he's had that issue for a long time. But Jesper was one of the founding members of the band. Daniel Svensson, the drummer, actually left the band earlier in 2015. So they have a new drummer on this album. They haven't even announced who it is. So I have no idea who the drummer is, even on this new album that's coming out. So it'll be interesting to see. I've heard... Oh, man, I can't remember. I know The End is one of the songs, and there's another song that they've released that are both definitely better than anything off of Silent Charms, but that's not saying much. I mean, Silent Charms, their most recent album, up until the one that's coming out, was awful. I mean, just like, what in the hell is this bad? So it'll be interesting to hear what they put out, because, like I said, just like many Metallica fans hope they show a glimpse of, and we've talked about this last episode with Hardwired, where so many people are so excited because, wow, it doesn't suck and it's Metallica. Sweet, I'm excited. It's almost how I feel about In Flames' new track, The End, at least, where you're like, okay, not bad. Anders doesn't sound like a prepubescent boy whining into a microphone, and there's some melody in the guitar. That sounds good. All right, In Flames, let's see what you got. But we'll get a chance to hear what the rest of the album is here soon. I'm trying to temper my hopes, because I think it could be, I probably set myself up for a disappointment. With that said, to answer your initial question, instead of me bloviating on In Flames for the last 3 minutes, I'll say this. I think that's a good trend to have, but it all depends. I'm not sold that In Flames even knows what they want to do anymore. So that's the problem. I mean, when you see bands like Trivium, and I just pulled that out of the air because I know Dave Draymond, who's the singer for The Disturbed, produced Trivium's album. He was a Trivium fan. He's like, I want to produce your stuff. Well, everything they've done as a band since David has been shit, in my opinion, and just not anything nearly as good as the stuff they did previous to. So there, to your point, Biv, is the opposite effect of a producer really saying, let me get my hands on this band, and I'm the Disturbed guy, and I can make this more radio friendly, which I'm not saying that's how it went down, but as a fan, that's how it sounds to me. Where this is the opposite. This seems to be the approach of, all right, In Flames, you do your thing. And if this is really their vision and what sound they're wanting to, now have, it'll be, I'm interested to hear more, because so far it sounds a hell of a lot better than what it used to be. And again, as a non-In Flames fan like yourself, it'll be really interesting to see what your thoughts are, because you are not a fan typically. So I'm curious. Well, I guess we'll find out more together now, won't we?
Yes, we will. Now, believe it or not, for the first time in According to Metal history, and probably the last time, I'm going to connect two stories with body count.
Wow. Okay. This may be the last time.
It should be. I hope.
You're talking the band Body Count, correct?
Yes. I'm hoping it's the last time.
Which, hold on. Speaking of Body Count and Ice-T, have you seen the Ice-T Geico commercial?
Yes, I have.
Oh, dude, that's one of the funniest things I've seen in probably a year.
Yes. Hey, you got ice? Is that Ice-T? No,
it's lemonade, man. That is freaking awesome. Anyway, I'm sorry. My ADD went out of control, but you said Body Count. I thought Ice-T, and I thought a commercial. But yes, go ahead. Body Count. Let's talk about it.
So MegaDeth and Ice-T's Body Counts are going to tour together.
What?
Yes. Now, first of all, their political differences are, you couldn't have two.
Oh, no. You have Dave, who's a born-again Christian, touring with... But hold on. This is the thing. Oh, hold on. This is going to get me on a tangent. What I've always found funny is Ice-T as a rapper or Ice-T as a quote-unquote metal musician, which the big song that I know of from Body Count, I'd be lying if I knew a lot of the stuff that Body Count's done, but the big song I know they did was called Cop Killer, which I always found funny, considering that just after being done with Body Count, Ice-T becomes an actor on Law & Order. Just saying. As a cop, which makes me laugh my balls off every time I think of it. But anyway, that's freaking hilarious, dude.
Yeah, so apparently, Dave Mustaine told Metal Hammer magazine that MegaDeth will tour the world with Body Count. Now... They're talking about a very large tour next summer with 5 bands on it with them. It's going to be more of a guest appearance than a direct support kind of thing. In other words, they're going to be co-headliners.
Oh, come on now.
Now, there's quite a few things in my head right now.
Oh, are you kidding me?
First of all, how do you even like put those two audiences together?
True.
I mean,
but to share the same time on stage as far as co-headlining?
That's ridiculous.
The last song, and again, I'd be lying if I said I was a Body Count fan, was off of the Judgment Night soundtrack. And when was that? Like in the 90s?
98?
Yeah, I remember that movie? I mean, that's the last Body Count song I remember ever hearing. That was damn near 20 years ago. Seriously?
But don't worry. Just so you're not, completely upset by this. They have a brand new CD coming out called
Oh, thank God, because I've been clamoring for it.
Oh, who hasn't been? It's called Blood Loss. It's out on Century Media Records.
Wow.
Next year.
That's a pretty big label. That's interesting. We'll have to check that out, though, for the sake of doing it. I always thought Body Count was interesting.
Right here on the show?
What now?
Should we review that right here on the show?
Yes, we're going to review it. And, damn it, we will state it for the record right now. You're hearing it first, according to Metalheads. We are going to work like hell to somehow, some way, get a member of Body Count as a guest on the show.
Oh, I think we should.
I mean, Ice-T would be great, but that's never going to happen. But I think it'd be awesome to get somebody from Body Count on the show. So, Biv, you have a task. We have time. Make it happen.
Oh, I will get someone from Body Count on this show.
That shit's going to happen, period.
Making no mistake. So we talked about creative freedom. And we're going to talk about another band, one of my favorite bands, I think, and actually one of your favorite bands on the show that we've ever talked about is Airborne.
Oh, I love Airborne.
Airborne's awesome. So they have a brand new CD coming out called Breaking Out of Hell. And it's coming out on a brand new label, Spine Farm, who is backed by Universal.
Well, Spine Farm's been around forever, man.
They have been. They've been around for a while. Now, they were with Roadrunner previous to this.
They were a spinoff of Roadrunner for a while, but now they're really, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, in a recent interview, they decided to start fresh with a brand new label. And the label actually came to them and said, "How do you want to make this record?" And they said, "Well, usually we go to the States and we find a producer." And they said, "Yeah, but how do you want to make it? Think outside the box." And they said, "Well, we haven't made an album in Australia, and we've always wanted to work with Bob Marlette, who is considered to be one of the top producers in the world. And they wanted to fly him in to Australia and do it there. And the label agreed to that."
Really?
So, yeah. So Breaking Out of Hell will be released September 16th, which actually is the day this show airs.
Right.
So the Airborne is, believe it or not, touring North America. Are you aware of this, Jason?
No, I didn't know.
September and October.
Really?
Yes. They start off in San Diego.
Okay.
On September 12th. They end in Baltimore October 14th. 21 shows. So a very busy schedule. 21 shows in 32 days. I mean, that's
pretty busy.
It is. So one of the things I found, the reason I even brought this up, besides the fact that you and I both like it, Airborne, is the fact that once again we're hearing the theme of the label offering creativity.
Yeah. Well,
without getting in the way.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing, though. I'm wondering if this is just spitballing, and for those of you who are artists that are out there that are listening to this podcast, tell me if you think I'm onto something. Because the market is what it is for music right now, and you have so many bands saying, screw labels, we don't need labels, we'll just put our stuff out there, we don't need anybody to do that. I'm wondering if labels, in order to feel that they can even stay in existence nowadays, are better off changing their approach on how they recruit and or position themselves to artists as a way to continue to have labels involved in the first place. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of bands who will just say, screw it, but I don't care. I mean, we talked about this in the last episode, or maybe the episode before, with Protest the Hero, who's like, labels can kiss our ass, we're done with them. We're done with them. We have nothing to do with them. We'll produce our own stuff. We'll put our own stuff out there to stream or to buy on iTunes or on Spotify, which most people buy their stuff anyway. We'll find somebody to distribute our CDs, but we'll do all of it ourselves. Screw that. And there's a lot of bands that are doing that. And so I'm wondering, to your point, maybe Spine Farm's doing what they're doing, or the guy who's producing In Flames' new album is doing what they're doing as a way to, I guess, stay relevant, maybe, or stay attractive to prospecting bands. I'm just throwing that out there as maybe something to think about.
I think you're making a lot of sense. I think that may be a large part of it. So the labels clearly have lost the hold that they used to have and say, well, I don't know if you recall or not, but Sabotage, way early in their career, made an album at that time that you're talking mid to late 80s, that the label wanted them to make, and they did not want to make that CD. and they made it anyway. I think it's Fight for the Rock, if I'm not mistaken. That